Hello, everybody, and welcome to Raw and Real. You joining myself and Lauren. I see your name on here is La Hala Maria. So I believe you've got some different names. Yeah, so Lauren is a lot of things. I met Lauren about 3 weeks ago or so at a cacao ceremony that she was running. She is a Sangoma. She is a vocal alchemist. She is a cacao cucina. She runs Women Red Tent workshops. She's a mother, and she lives in our beautiful mother city, Cape Town. So,
and I'm a troubadour.
and she's that. So, a troubadour.
I'm a
So what is
clown.
it? A clown.
I'm a blue-nosed clown, and I walk on stilts.
Yes.
And I dance with fire and a hula hoop.
And being a clown is something that I am too, and it's something I actually am challenged with, because I find it can be quite difficult to make myself seem like a fool in front of other people. Yeah, I don't know if you've experienced anything similar.
No,
But
not
anyway.
at all. It happens quite naturally. I don't even realize when it's happening. The greatest challenge with being a clown, and in many shamanic traditions, then there are clowns. They're called sacred clowns. In the Native American traditions, they're called hayoka.
Yes.
The greatest challenge is when people don't have a foundation of understanding about what it is. Because oftentimes when the spirit moves through us, when ancestors move us who are clowns, then we do things upside down. So we don't follow the protocols because we are moved in a different way. So in that way, we are in some ways system busters. And it's not always comfortable. Thank goodness, generally there's some sense of humor, and not always, but generally there's some sense of humor that comes through in the process. But it can be quite confusing to people if they don't have the foundation of understanding that the old ways remembers.
Sure. And what is the foundational understanding? I mean, I don't know much about it, but what I would assume is that it's really about teaching through whatever your clownness is, whether that's dance or music or trying to be funny or whatever it is. There's you're almost reflecting back to society something about itself.
Yeah, it is very much about a mirror. It's about really the yes to show up. Now I can also utilize the word Sangoma. So Sangoma, shaman, in all the different forms that we represent. And there's 100,000 faces, like each one of us is absolutely unique by virtue of the combination of soul and alternative lifetime experience that is remembered in this time now. And ancestors that are living inside the body, and how open that communication is so that the soul's able to ground. And then also, what is your life's purpose? What have you come here to bring in the world? Our overriding job is to bring healing to the community. That is the overriding job. And how we do that is unique to each one of us. So it's not a generic, like Sangoma, shaman, what. It's not a generic. There are forms and protocols that, especially when we are in training and going through the training processes and through the initiation processes, which are very real processes. They're not made up. They've been in Sangoma in Africa. This is a very, very ancient, unbroken lineage of tradition that has changed many times since the ancient times. And from what I've been shown and told by the animals and shown in visions and stuff, it's rooted in the same ancient school as all of the other lineages on the planet, most of which are broken now. And certainly our white cultures in Europe, they were broken and destroyed. And yet the frequencies still exist. And they run through in our ancestors in that place where there is no such thing as time. So Sangoma is unbroken. And over time, the protocols and the methods that have been used in order to perform initiation that is real and that works have changed because also we've changed and the frequency of the earth has changed and what we're able to do as humans has shifted. Our relationship with the universe has shifted. Yeah.
You know, Lauren, what you've just said, I've got so many questions to ask you. I want to understand more about the initiations, more about what a Sangoma is, more about what it's like to be a white
This
Sangoma,
is cute.
because that's also something that I haven't seen very often. But I guess let's take it one step at a time. So, can you explain maybe a little bit more about what it is to be a Sangoma and what that actually means?
So as I was saying, the job of Sangoma is to heal the community.
Yeah.
The calling to become Sangoma. And now even I'm going to expand this into a global thing because there are Sangoma who are initiated Sangoma living all over the planet right now. Many people are drawn here by their dreams and visions to initiate because Africa remembers how to do it. And the initiation process opens the communication lines between soul and ancestors and allows those gifts that are grounded inside with ancestors from soul to ground so that that person, that human being, is able to play their role with the greatest potential in the society. And it's happening more and more now because we are in times of quite a lot of urgency to bring healing to the consciousness of humanity, to open and awaken the consciousness of humanity in every way we can. So Sangoma, in Africa and I'm young inside the traditions. I am Mpande Gogo, which means that my calling is to teach. And very quickly I got my Mpande, which means the roots of the tradition. And so I have more responsibility because of that. I have Twaza people. I'm an initiator. I have the help of my family of Sangoma, which is wonderful because I'm still learning and we learn until we die. You know, so inside with Mpande, then also the teachings of the teachers are shared with me as well. From ancient times through the lineages, it's a very real thing and it's a huge responsibility. So what I'm saying about
who are your teachers, if you don't mind me asking?
My Baba. So in our family, I can't speak for lots of other families because I didn't like shop around, you know, like my calling came when I was 21 and it came a few days after the troubadours called me. And I said to that Gogo, I said, I know, I need to initiate. I'll be back. I've got to go with those guys first. That's what my heart is telling me. And then it took 20 years to come back, you see.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I got very well cooked. That's the other thing about Sangoma, to know and understand. For the people who've got the calling, and in South Africa, there are a lot. I was once actually given a statistic. It's like 8 out of 10 people are actually called to Sangoma. Why? Is because we are the Rainbow Nation. Why? Is because how this is my own observations. I'm not saying this like it is the word of truth, so please don't misunderstand me. You can take every story that I speak as a story and add it to your book of stories. And if it informs you well, then enjoy the nutrition. And if it doesn't inform you well, then enjoy the nutrition of that too. Because it's all relevant. Every single story is relevant. There is no, it's a real thing. This thing about separation, it's real. It's like time to put it together now. It's finished. It's enough. We've had enough of that. We have to actually make it a practice now. So anyway, what I've observed, and I was told many years before I became Sangoma, actually, because I've been walking the path since I was 21. My calling came initially actually from a vision when I was 19 in Namibia in the desert. And this big white bird who was flying backwards, and it said, I'm an elemental of the wind. I fly with the winds. It said to me, you've got a new mission in this lifetime, and it is to help to change the education system. So the mystery schools of this planet are the source of the education system. And Sangoma is as far as I know, And there may be other lineages that are unbroken, but as far as I know, it's one of the strongest anyway, unbroken lines on the planet. So it's a deep responsibility. And
Yes.
I think also that's why I was called in. So anyway, what I'm saying is at the tip of Africa there, the two oceans meet. It is the one place on the planet where two oceans come, one from the south and one from the north. And they make like this, a washing machine when they meet. And then it so happens that we are told that the Nilotic meridian, which runs all the way up Africa, and it's a meridian of quartz and gold, and it's actually also physical. It runs through a friend of mine's farm. We can see it on the farms next door as well. It's popping out the ground, these big boulders of quartz. And the Nilotic meridian, they say that the Nilotic meridian is the first meridian that Mother Earth formed as her body was forming and fine-tuning, and and she is still in process of evolution, just like all of us. It doesn't just stop, so it's the first one, the mother line, and it runs all the way up Africa, all the way up to where the others are now also joining. There's lots of meridians now. So what I've observed happening is that the emotional body of the planet, which is physically Togoza Gogo.
Sarah, come say hello quickly. This is the lady I was telling you about Sangoma.
Hello.
Togoza Gogo. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good.
Yeah.
Hey, you've got a beautiful shining being, Gogo. Hey, it's nice to see you.
And me too.
Togoza. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Makos. Yeah. Okay, I forgot we were on earphones. So then the emotional body of the planet, and we know that water is I'm sure that many people already know this. Water is very much a physical manifestation of emotion, right? And of course, the salty waters, these ones are very strong for cleaning.
Yes.
So then the emotional body of the planet, it gets inside with a washing machine there at the end of Africa. They're at the tip of Africa. Yes. They're by South Africa. They're by, we can see it here. We see it in the ocean here in Cape Town. We can see that line. You can see the two colors. And then it washes up, the Nilotic meridian. So I'm part of also, it's a global group of people. I don't know all of them. I only know a few of them here in South Africa, but we help to keep the Nilotic meridian clean as well, so that the healing flow, the waters can flow through and clean. It was very dirty before. I know, I can't remember her name. There's a famous writer who helped to bring awareness to this necessity of keeping it clean. And it's also why there are such a high quotient of Sangoma here. It's why there are so many people here who are doing and drawn to do shamanic work of all the different colors. This place is what we call in South Africa a poikikos. Maybe in Europe it would be called a paella. Yeah. and here we have got such a mix-up of ancestors. It's challenging. It's challenging because we don't know each other's cultures unless we enter into each other's cultures fully. And yet it is a great blessing, because we have got inside our ancestors, we are a mixture of the planet. So for us to do the work as Sangoma, which, if you've got a calling, I honestly suggest that you actually do follow it and don't be scared anymore and initiate, because it's that's the other part. Something that I've observed and we've observed, and Africa understands very well, Black Africa understands very well, the people of the darker colored skin understand, whether they're Sangoma or not, is that there's this thing that we call calling sickness. And it manifests in all sorts of ways. It manifests in sickness about money. Hey, working too much hard and all the time the money is not coming nicely. following your, like doing what you know you're supposed to do, but still not being able to actually, like on the survival all the time. I had that sickness big time before. I was doing big work in the world, beautiful work with the cacao and with my voice. And you know, the people on the outside, I think that they thought that everything was flowing beautifully on the inside with home and family, but actually it was survival. It was like day-to-day survival. It was really, really difficult.
It feels like you're speaking directly to me because I've been going through that for a while now.
Tokos. Yeah, tokos. And then also it manifests in relationship problems. Because why? We need to grow, we need to wake up. So we get cooked. Sangoma, Mpande Sangoma, we call it, ancestors are cooking you. Because, you know, inside the lineages of Sangoma, the physical lineages, that body that you chose as a soul, because it has got everything that you need to ground the gifts that your soul has got and bring them to the world, and also to bring you the strong teachings you need to cook you, to get ready to do the work that you've got. So it's got the good, the bad, and the ugly. Mama Gaia, she is so blessed. She keeps inviting us back, even though we make such a mess, and giving us the opportunity to have bodies that we can master within. Our souls can master. Your soul can master inside the body that it's in. If you have the calling to Sangoma, you might need to initiate in order to master. Because what happens when you initiate? Yeah?
Because I don't really know the term Sangoma all that well, but the term shaman is thrown around my ears all the time. So is there a similarity? Because I do feel like I've got quite a shamanic path. I'm always outside. I love the gardening. You know, I've done some medicine work and things like that. So I enjoy that side of things. But Sangoma, is there a difference? Or is it a similar thing?
No, it's the same. Okay. It's the same. The difference is that shaman, it's a word that comes, I believe, from Siberia. And there is still some very strong Siberian shaman active there. You know, they came out of the same lineages. I think that there's probably some unbroken stuff going on there. And you see, here in South Africa, we remember our own word. And I'm saying our because I was born here. I am African. Yeah, and I have also got Khoisan ancestors. Just, you know, people can't usually see that unless the Sangoma can recognize that quite easily. But not everybody's able to see that. A lot of us white South Africans have got Black or Bantu or Khoisan ancestors because we mixed. Not always in the nice ways, but we did.
I want to actually expand a little bit on that because it is quite rare to see a white Sangoma. Have there been difficulties on your path to being a white Sangoma when, in my mind, a Sangoma is traditionally an African or black skin-colored thing? I don't know if there's been any, if you've had any challenges with that.
So I haven't until recently. You know, a few weeks ago, I would have said no. Everybody that I've met, oftentimes I meet people in the shop and they say, how? You're a Sangoma. You're a white person. White people don't have ancestors. And I said, of course I have ancestors. And then because it comes inside with the shining of the heart, you know. So in general, in fact, I've been blown away by the respect that I've received from what people call Africans, the Bantu and, you know, darker skinned people who are more easy to recognize as African people. It's actually profound, the amount of respect that Sangoma receive. It's almost like being royalty. It's something that us white people don't understand, and especially Mpande Gogos like me are actually in the hierarchy, which we're busy working with shifting right now, and coming into synarchy. We're making that move at the moment, and I think it's one of the reasons why I received the resistance recently. But Mpande Gogos are higher than the king.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite profound, and yet, why And the only reason we can be in that position, honestly and really, is because we walk on our knees. We are not afraid. We walk on our knees. We must, because there's a lot of power when your roots are open inside with ancestors, and the power of your soul, which has got master beings within it, because you have been called to be Sangoma or shaman. You've got master beings in your soul, and you've got master beings in your ancestors. And that is what calls you to initiate, because oftentimes, especially European people, also Europe and African people, oftentimes the communication lines are not able to get through between the master beings, the master ancestors, those initiates, those priests and priestesses, not on the church vibes, miskin, maybe older than that. And the ones, that part of your soul, those parts of your soul that are master beings, they can't get together nicely. So the spirit is not able to flow through nicely. Then what initiation processes do is it opens those communication lines. Wow. True initiation does that, so that you're able to be here fully. And then what happens is that the power is immense. This is why when we are Sangoma, when we are Twaza, when I was a Twaza, I was walking on my knees did bleed.
What is a Twaza?
Twaza, it means student. Yeah. Okay. And Sangoma, it means the people with the medicine. It means the people who heal with the singing and the dancing and the playing of the drum also. Okay. Sangoma are channels. Nyanga, which is the herbalist, also has to initiate, because inside the lineages lives the memory. And so when you initiate as a Nyanga, if you've got specifically according to the plants, then they're inside the lineages. And remember, it goes beyond. It goes all the way to ancient Egypt and beyond in all directions. So it's not just the memory from Africa. It actually is the memory from global. This is what I've discovered in my process of walking on this path and being an initiate. I'm now graduated with Mpande, as I said. And also because when you initiate and graduate, etc., the communication lines are really wide open. So those ancestors of yours who were herbalists or channels, or, like some form of healer person, leaders in different ways, like Sangoma, we lead from our knees. We point like this because we take responsibility. We point back at ourselves.
I like that.
So part of the response, this is a great wisdom from Africa that I didn't know until I became part of its culture, like fully. And that's also the difference between cultural misappropriation and being a Sangoma, because cultural misappropriation is what my Baba would call, and Baba means father, that's the trainer. So I'm also a Baba, because when you train, you have to have the love of the father that has got strong boundaries.
Sure.
I'm a mama Baba. So my Baba, he says like there's lots of DIYs, go DIYs in South Africa, do it yourself gogos.
Yeah.
And it's true, because and me, I was a big DIY for 20 years. I was a go-go DIY strong. Many people thought I was Sangoma, and I had to say I'm something like that, but I'm not initiated, so I can't call myself a Sangoma.
Okay, so that initiation process is actually really important, huh?
It's real. It's real.
And I know it's something that Western society is almost lost,
Yes. Yes.
I'd be interested to find out more about what the initiation process is. I don't know if this is an initiation process for me, but I've just recently felt this calling. I'm part of a group called the Mankind Project, where we get together.
Yay, that's a good one.
Yeah, okay, cool. So you know that. And we're doing a whole new bunch of men are coming in, and it's in about 2 or 3 weeks to be initiated through the Mankind Project. And for some reason, I didn't sign up to be a facilitator that weekend. And it was a few days after me not signing up, I realized why, because something came up, and it was this I don't know if it feels like it's an initiation type of thing, but it's basically a fire dance with a guy called Vaughan in Johannesburg.
Hallelujah. Fire dance is really good. It's a strong gate, that one.
Yeah.
I call
yeah.
it gates and I call it initiation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
very
I've been
good. I had to
called
dance the
that.
fire dance after I graduated. That's
Wow.
wonderful you're doing that.
Wow. So I've been invited to be a facilitator, and at the same time, as Synchronicity has it, a friend of mine is going to be dancing, so I'm going to be holding space for a friend of mine.
Beautiful.
But I guess what I'd like to understand is the initiation process. What is it? Is there specific things that have to be done? And is it different for different lineages?
So I can't tell you all of the what's that word? That one. You have to become Mpande Gogo if you want to.
Okay.
And why is because we have to be responsible for the amount of power that is being handed over, or that is being not handed over, but opened and shared. You know, it is very, very, very real.
Michelle Reed is saying
because it's not, it's very real. It is in action. Yeah. Hello, Michelle. Michelle is inside with the lineages of the Native American people as well. So what is given with the power that is opened when you initiate into the lineages of Sangoma is not only the opening of your own ancestral lines so that your soul and the spirit can flow through and the cleaning can happen from the ancient times. And, you know, my experience, ancient ancestors don't look human to me. My ones, they're not humanoid. Some of them are humanoid, but they're very big. You know, it's not, So it goes back, it's real. And when you initiate into the lineages of Sangoma, you're also initiating into an unbroken lineage of healers that extends all the way back into the temples of Isis and beyond. Wow. This is the same school that, following the stories, and I can also say my own visions and memories as well, not only what has come from outside, and you can chew on this yourself and feel into it. It comes from before the last ice age, from Atlantis, and before that, the same mystery school that started in Lemuria as far as we remember. So it is a school that arrived on the planet to assist the continual growth and the maintenance of the consciousness of humanity, because humanity is a blessed form. It is a blessed form. We are told it is the most powerful form to be in.
Yeah.
And it is the most challenging because of that.
Yeah.
And now we are very short, both in consciousness and in form, compared to when we began in the original blueprint. And so back there in the original times, in those very long time ago, when we didn't look the same as we do now, then somebody must have been given a gift of vision from Great Spirit, from Mother, Father, God, Goddess, all that is that lives within inside every single beingness, whether it moves or not, like everything. That there would be a time, and there would be many times on this planet, Mama Gaia, when we are in need of remembering in order to play our responsibility to assist with the balance, while at the same time having freedom of choice, because this is what we've got that not everybody here has got. In the natural kingdom, we've got freedom of choice. Not everybody in the galactic what has got freedom of choice. We've got freedom of choice. Hello, Dietmar. That's
and
my
I find that fascinating. You say we need to remember, because it's almost like we get so caught up in doing things and reading articles and our Facebook and a million things in our daily lives. But to remember an ancient wisdom,
that lives inside every cell of your being, that is inside everything you can see and feel and taste and touch. And you see, this is why the great mysteries are not always shared publicly. Like the technologies of initiation are given to those who reach the place of being an initiator, who got that calling. Not everybody's got that calling. It's a huge responsibility.
Sure.
You know, it's not just to initiate, it's also to maintain the health of the tree, which what we call the tree, and in my family we see it as the tree of life, to keep it clean. And to listen for the shifting frequencies, because things haven't been, and the technologies haven't been the way that they are now forever. They've changed, as I say, and they are continuing to change because the planet is changing. We are changing. Humanity is changing. So it's a huge amount of power, which is why when we are Twaza, it's a protocol. You don't have a choice. You have to walk on your knees when you're in the Makosini. When you are receiving teachings, we go onto our knees when we are receiving teachings. I still go onto my knees when I'm receiving teachings from my Baba, because I'm not yet at that place where I don't have to anymore. And we follow those protocols. This is also the difference between cultural misappropriation and being part of something. You know, I've got a family now, a different family. It's my Sangoma family, and it's amazing. It's really like this family, just like my troubadour family, they understand my crazy. When the sacred sickness opens fully in me, and the voices are of my ancestors and the ancestors in the field who are wanting to speak are coming through, and I don't sleep and I hardly eat, they understand and they know how to meet. We know how to speak with ancestors. We know how to help ancestors who are sick. Recently, I had an experience where, because I'm white, it was really difficult for me to help the ancestors who were needing help, who were present in some of the people in that space, because I was white, and they were angry with white people. And it was really like, it's really made the fire inside me grow big to learn. You know, I wish that I had that, you know, I was in matric when Mandela called us the Rainbow Nation. When he, you know, so we didn't get taught Xhosa or Zulu in school. I wish, you know, now I wish, because it's not easy to learn a language. I keep saying to my team, and because there's so many Xhosa and Zulu speaking ancestors inside Mpande, inside the tree, I keep saying, guys, just teach me, please. I know that you know, I'm sure that I know too, even inside my soul, but I want to remember, you know, because sometimes it's what's needed. It's not easy for us to recognize one another sometimes, because our eyes are, they can be, it's inside. What we see is what, you know, the Hindu people call it the Maya, the illusion.
Yeah.
You know, it's what we see, and it isn't what it is, and yet it is. So,
and I just want to say, if there's anyone out there that's got any questions, please ask away on Facebook, and we'll do our best to answer. And I also wanted to ask you, Lauren, do I call you Lauren?
You can. I like La, because if you want to use a more regular name, La is my initials, Lauren Amy Hofmeyer. So it's got all of my birth name inside it. Yeah.
La, what I wanted to ask you is, if there is anyone out there that's, I mean, I don't even know if there is, but maybe there's someone listening now that is interested in initiating. Is there somewhere you can send them, or do they just sort of need to trust that someone's going to come and take them by the hand and say, hey, you ready? You know, or is there a website they can go to, or a place they can go to
yes, where the Western mind and the Northern mind meets the ways of the South. So, you know, really the best thing to do is to flow with the synchronicities. It might be, even for some people, if they're listening to or watching this, that they feel like they want to come to me for assistance with initiation. And then you can trust that, you know. With me, how it happened is that Ish Kakao brought my Baba back to me. He brought my Baba, not that same one who called me back then, But my Baba, he called me up one day. He said, Gogo, he was a friend. He came to some ceremonies, he's been Sangoma, also a white man for like 14 years or 15 years now. And he called me up. He said, Gogo, my ancestors have been telling me in dreams that I need to work with cacao for my own healing. Can you teach me, please? And so I had a big shining yes. And then it was the first person I taught. And as part of the trade, then he threw bones for me. And there was the very strong calling signs. He said, oh, Gogo, you've got a very strong calling. I said, I know, whatever. It's already been 20 years now. Wada. Like I was inside with this, but, it's not my culture, And yet, in my culture, there's no initiation form anymore. And yet, I always knew I needed to initiate. So then, about a month later, I was dieting cacao for the second or third time. I think it was the third time, actually, the whole tree. And Ish Cacao walked up to me one day when I was journeying in a vision space, and she said, stop fucking around. You know you need to initiate. You've always known, and you were born in Africa for a reason. You go call your Baba, you tell her you need to come. You tell him you need to come as quickly as you can. And so then I did, and it was amazing because that time in my life, as I said, I was inside with the money sickness big time. I was living day to day, week to week. And it was like miracles. It was like miracles. To initiate as a Sangoma is not cheap. It's a huge commitment. That's why it's not cheap, because it's a huge commitment. It's not something that you can just turn off afterwards. It's like you become part of the family and the lineages and walking with the responsibility for the rest of your life.
I guess that's the thing. Yeah, it's a complete life change.
Yes, and and at the moment we are still working with the animal kingdom. They assist us in the processes, which is also very confusing for many people. We are Sangoma is one of the old traditions on the planet that still works with animal sacrifice. And many people are very upset about this and confused by this.
Yeah.
What my experience has been, it's been quite profound. I knew that I had to embrace sacrifice because all of the animals came to me in a vision and they bowed to me. And so I had to find exactly that cow from the vision, and she arrived on the morning of my graduation. But in the process of the various different ceremonies that I've experienced so far in the different gates of initiation, the animals have given me visions to show me how they work, what they're doing.
Wow.
And, we need their help. We're not yet ready to channel through the frequencies of initiation without their help. We would get totally fried. So, and those animals also, they live and work with us as Sangoma within our fields until we die, doing the work of healing. They continue to assist me, those animals who are with me, they continue to assist me in the processes of opening the lines and supporting the opening of the lines, of the communication lines, which is a wonderful definition of healing that Zanimvula, it's Peter von Maltitz, he's Sangoma from inside the Kosa traditions. Beautiful wise man, amazing botanist and herbalist as well. He defines healing as opening of communication lines, and I really like that. So, they help me still, and they come and talk to me and they advise me, Last year, Siegfried, who's my Mpande goat, he's the one who helps me, the communications from the teachers in the lineages to come through clearer. He helps to open those lines so that I'm able to support whoever I'm serving, whoever is twazaing with me, for their unique ancestors and what their needs are. He helps to open those pathways inside the libraries, I suppose you could call them, the roots of the tree, the branches and roots of the tree of life. he said to me last year, don't be fooled. You still need our help. It's not going to be forever. We know this. And we are being trained, some of us, I'm sure it's more than just me, who are being trained, but it's not something that we can force. We have to walk the path.
Sure.
And show up and do the work. As I say, it's like it's 24/7, 369 infinity commitment.
I'm assuming
yeah.
you probably get some resistance when you speak to people about the sacrificing of animals. There's a lot of people out there that I know that there's someone's already made a comment saying, yes, I don't agree with the sacrificing part at all. So maybe we can just speak a little bit more about what that is. I know from my side, I'm a meat eater, and I know that cows and animals are getting slaughtered all the time in the most inhumane way. So if we, want to go into something ceremonious and with real intention, to me, doesn't have that much of an effect as opposed to, say, for example, the meat industry that's just slaughtering them by numbers with no real intent besides to make some profit behind it,
Yeah, there's a very big difference for the consciousness of the animal. And I will share with you a vision as well, which they say that I can share. Okay. But first, there's a very big difference for the soul, that soul, that sentient being that is that animal, to living a life of eating grass or being force-fed or whatever it is, and then being killed with no ceremony or prayer or anything, and then being eaten just to feed hunger.
Yeah.
And the life of the animal that has come, because of course, remember, each soul chooses. Hey, we have to remember this. Every time we judge, we separate, and we are moving from that black and white reality of duality into rainbow frequency now, where the colors actually blend with one another. They aren't fixed boundaries. Everything is one thing. That's not just a spiritual thing. It's a true. And when it's ready to land in each person on this planet, then it will. There's nothing that can stop that, really. So it's actually, like Daisy. Daisy is the cow. Her name is Daisy. She's wonderful. Who came for my graduation. I made a promise to her. She before she came to the knife, she was fighting to come to the knife. And then I realized, okay, and so I spoke to her and I made a promise that we will work together, she and I, and serve only for the highest good of all until I die. And I will make her skin soft so that I can sleep on her often and dream with her, and my twizers can sleep on her and dream with her. Wow. And as soon as I made that promise, she walked into that narrow place, there at we call it Gogoland, where we do our ceremonies of our family. There's the place where the holy cows live, the ones that don't get killed for nothing. And then the holy cows help the passage of the cows that are coming to assist and work inside the morphogenetic field with that Sangoma to assist to open the communication lines. And she walked, and there's a little narrow thing that you must go. If you're a cow, you must go through a narrow gate into this narrow thing, and that's where the knife comes. Because to put a knife to cut that line there, it can be very dangerous. She's a nguni, there's sharp horns, they're strong, very strong, And she walked in there after I made that promise. She walked in there by her own. So, that's profound. And then the vision that they say I can share with you. So I had this vision when we were doing a Twaza Gobongo ceremony.
Just to sum that up, she actually submitted to your intention.
Yes, she said, I agree. Okay, your commitment is firm. I see you. I feel you. I'd like to work with you.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. And she does. And then what happens is that, okay, so we aren't, not all of the communities, the school environments where the ceremonies of Sangoma take place are fully kitted out in the old ways, like where every single part, like the sinews are taken and used for strings, and we're not able to process in the way that we used to. But every part of the animal is used, and the meat feeds the community. And
that to me is incredible, because then it is being used. It's being sacrificed in a conscious way. It's being used. It's being eaten. Everything's being used. So it's actually, in my mind, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's no.
And she still shows up. Sometimes when I'm in a steam process, I'm busy clearing the field of somebody, removing ancestral curses, opening communication lines, working inside with the transmutation process to bring harmony into this body, this incarnation of an ancestral history, which is full of trauma and suffering and jealousies and all sorts of things.
Sure.
So there's a process where you remove curses, which is only one small step, but it's a very big step as well. And sometimes Daisy shows up to help me, and I know, okay, when Daisy shows up, we're going to be opening the communications. It needs to be open wide.
Yeah.
Because she's big. And she can carry people. She carries the moon between her horns and the sun disk between her horns, she's big. She's very gentle. The cow is gentle, and it's also got horns if it needs to use them. The cow chews on everything. It doesn't just swallow. It chews, you see. The cow is inside with deep wisdom. So the vision that I'll share with you, if you like, I had this vision when we were serving a Twaza Gobongo ceremony. I was still Twaza at the time. Gobongo is a Twaza process. It means a training process, which is the training of ancestors, which is another way of saying opening communication lines and writing patterning that works together with the plant kingdom very specifically. And in traditional ways, it works with the animal kingdom as well. I served Twaza Gobongo with cacao and the wheel because of the vision I was given, and because the universe has been teaching me these technologies since I was 21. And so I was given the permission. I'm able to serve it in that way. I'm ready. So, and it still works. It works well. So what I saw was when the chickens were cut, because always the chickens go first, and then comes the goats, and then one cow. Okay, if you're going to graduate, that's the time the cow comes. I think there are other times when cows are sacrificed, but I don't know all of those things because I haven't experienced them as part of the culture yet.
Okay.
So what I saw when the chickens were sacrificed and cut, and first they're blessed and there's a prayer, all the stuff happens, is I could see the tree of life. Because the tree has been talking to me for a long time, since before, I could see the tree of life. And I saw these chickens, they looked like shining hearts with wings.
Oh, wow.
And they went flying into the tree, these beaming hearts with wings. And they went flying into the tree, and they showed me they go flying in to the tree of life for that person that they are serving, that one that they've been cut for. That they go flying for that person and for that person's ancestors, for that, I'm going to say, universe, that heart, that human heart, which is the coming together of soul and ancestors. And we pray that the spirit flows through it as best as possible so that we can be present and conscious. And those shining hearts, they know where to go in the tree. They go to those places they need to go, and they perch there, and they beacon, and they shine, and they bring love, and they help to open the ways. They begin. And then the goats come, and the goats have this ability to see between the worlds very well. They're stubborn, and they're meticulous. They're meticulous. And they don't mind to go backwards. If they've gone this way, it's not the right way. They're going to find the way. They're going to find the way. If it's too difficult this way, they're going to find another way to get to that shining heart. So they go, and then the chickens, once that way is cleaned, then they go find another place. They work with us until we die. And then I mean, it's like, if you can imagine I can relate it to the kind of the Hindu again, understanding of reincarnation and Tibetan and all of these Eastern understandings of reincarnation, whereby if you live a very good life and you clean your karma and you do good and you serve, then you're going to come back in a better place. You're going to come back in fact, I know that I don't know the details in my memory, but in the reincarnation system, it starts with being an insect or something like that. And then you do good, then you reincarnate, you become a different kind of animal. Then maybe Daisy's going to come back as a human.
Maybe.
Who knows? I don't know, but it's more than what you think. Basically, there's a lot of misunderstanding about Sangoma, not only Sangoma, about all of the old cultures. And, there's a reason for it. And the reason is and it is also the reason why the lineages are unbroken. Because this particular school, this branch of the ancient school, has had a very deep commitment not to compromise, to do what needs to be done in order to affect true and real and strong initiation. And it is also true, I need to speak to this, that the power and the technologies are misused a lot. And that is also something that happens everywhere where there's power. We know this. When there's power, then there comes inside jealousy, there comes inside greed. This is a big problem about sickness with humans, jealousy and greed. It's one of the reasons why we have to walk on our knees, because it brings a humility. And also it is true that there are lineages of Sangoma, there are families, same like in the jungle, same like everywhere on the planet. Even in Europe, there are still some strong human beings who have got power in them from ancestors and soul, who are walking inside with the frequencies of jealousy and greed, and make money by throwing curses. And some of them work with animals to do that. And the animals are not free will beings at this stage. We're busy in negotiation about that, me and my team, saying to them, come on, guys, come on, stop giving your power to these things, please. Come on. Because it's real.
And that power is abused in so many different ways in the world. I know a lot of people that have had negative experience with shamans, now they're under medicine, ayahuasca or something like that, and the shaman is being abusive. So I know that can happen in
Maestro.
Yeah.
It would be nice if we remembered all the right words, hey? For each culture.
I wanted to share with those that are watching that La actually said that she would throw the bones for me at some stage. So I went out this morning and got some coins and went to the river and did some intentional work. And I've had the bones thrown for me once in Zimbabwe with some guy, and he charged me money, and it took him about 5 minutes, and it really felt so inauthentic. It was such a joke. I could see he was just like dressed up in some animal skin that he had put together, but it really just didn't feel authentic. I did it with my girlfriend, and at the end of it, we just laughed. We were like, well, that was fun. That was, $100 well spent. It was a good laugh. But when you throw the bones, I'd be interested to find out a little bit more about what that process actually is, because it's something that I'd love to experience with yourself. And I'm sure if there's anyone else out there watching, maybe they'd like to hear as well about what that experience is. All I know is you've told me it's quite a lengthy process. I asked you if we could do it
when you read with me, yes,
live today, and you said, look, it could be an hour and a half and it could be very personal, so let's maybe not go there. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna
it's, there is a thing called Shaya 1-2. We call it Shaya 1-2. Where you throw it opens the field. You hit it down 1-2 and opens the field and just look, and but that's something different, and I don't actually do Shaya 1-2 all that often. Okay. So again, here it's a reference to every single Sangoma is different and unique, and has our own unique tools. And there's also many different ways of doing divination. So the word that we've been taught. I believe it's a Zulu word, because I'm inside with the Zulu lineages, Tokoza Sangoma, Swazi Zulu. That's our family is Swazi Zulu. Because of the synchronicities, even though I was born in Cape Town, and I've got Khoisan ancestors, that's just how it flowed, and it makes a lot of sense. So Bula is the word. It means divination, as far as I understand. So there are some Sangoma, my ancestral sister, Gogono Mabunu. Last time I was bulaing side by side with her, I'm working with the bones, and she's working with a bowl of water and some different colored candles. And so she opens up, her ancestors have taught her in dreams to open up the field in this way of ancestors and soul, and then they bring her the visions and she speaks them. Some Sangoma, they will throw the bones and hardly look at them. And the field opens and they speak. With me, I'm a reader. So I throw the bones, we call in the field, we throw the bones, and I like to read every detail that I can see. I do make it very clear inside the opening prayers, because as I'm sure you know, the opening...
Your connection stopped. Maybe just start that sentence again.
Which one?
Oh, I've lost. Oh, there you're back.
Yeah, you're going fuzzy.
Sorry, there
as
must
well.
have been
a glitch. So what I was saying is that I'm a reader.
Okay.
This is also coming
let's just
from...
continue.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. This is also coming from my own ancestors. So before I became a Sangoma, I've been able to read tea leaves and coffee grains. I can read cards without... I don't know the tarot. You know, I don't know the tarot, but they speak to me even though I don't know them, because I can read. I read nature. I'm a reader. And also it comes in sides with visions, and it comes with messages, and sometimes also ancestors use my voice and they speak through me as well. So the bones have got, and each family is different as well. So in my family then of Sangoma, then there's certain bones, and by bones we don't just mean bones, it's the bones of the earth, which these days includes little pieces of plastic and you know, all sorts of things. It's mostly shells. There are some actual bones as well. And in fact, I've got one bone that wanted to come inside. It was from a chicken I think it was from a chicken that might have grown up in a battery. And it said to me, I want to go inside. I'm representing compromise because of that spirit, that soul of that chicken who decides to be born into a chicken that's going to be in a battery. This is a choice to compromise in order to feed the people. So anyway, each one has got a name, and some of them are following what I was taught, and my Baba's bones and his Baba's bones. So in our family, we can quite easily read each other's bones, because there's kind of a little bit of okay, this kind of shell is for grandmothers and this one is for grandfathers, but we, you know. And then, of course, if there's something that wants to go into the bones, something new wants to go in, it tells me what it's for, what its name is, and then it goes in. So when you become a graduated Sangoma and you've gathered your bones, then your Baba gives you some special muti, which is, muti is medicine. It's a word for medicine. It means, normally it's like roots and barks and maybe sometimes some leaves and things like this. Maybe sometimes flowers. But so there's the mutis, different mutis, there's thousands and thousands of them. I've got so much to learn there, and not speaking a language makes it difficult, because the names of the mutis often mean what they do.
Okay.
So I'm a reader in that too. When I'm choosing mutis for a process that I need mutis for, then I ask my team to show me, and my body tells me that one, that one, that one. And then I phoned my Baba and I said, what is this and this and this? And he says this and this. And I said, oh, okay, that makes sense. Thokoza mkhulu. Makos, you know, like, so we learn until we die. Yeah, sure. And then those bones, we make a ceremony. They go into some water with that muti. That muti helps the bones to know what their job is. And it helps the ancestors of whoever or whatever, because you can also throw bones for, like once I was asked to throw bones for a retreat, to gain information into that retreat so that the facilitators of that retreat could get guidance and preparation for what to bring and how to bring it, and what personal work they need to do in order to bring it with full integrity. So, you can throw bones for many things. But basically the muti, it helps the morphogenetic field to also be able to recognize how the bones work, to sit on the bones, which is also why, again, we don't point at the bones with a finger. We point like this, or with the back end of a stick, not the sharp end. Because on that bone there, on that one over there, there are sitting your grandmothers from your father's side. You don't want to be projecting stuff at them. They've come here to share something with you. So we have a deep respect, Sangoma.
Wow, very, very interesting. Really found this chat fascinating. And yeah, I look forward. I don't know how you are for time, but I'm not going to be able to carry on for too much longer. I think it's quite a good time for us to.
It's good.
But yeah, I'd love to do a bone throw with you and see how that goes. I've really, as you said, prepared for that. So
yeah, and then like I said, go onto my website, please. It's medicinemuse.coza, and because my secretary lives there, she's called the calendar. And then you're going to see when I've got time, and you can book a bones reading, and it'll show you when you can put it. It's an hour and a half. Yeah. I want to say one more thing.
I'll send your link to your website on the chat. There's quite a Facebook chat.
So thank you. Yeah. I also want to say one more thing, and that is a thank you. I need to say a thank you to Africa and South Africa, and to the people of this land of color who are called Africans. By others. And because I want to say thank you for the treasure that you hold, and that myself personally, and certainly all of my twazas, not all of who are of color. I have got 2 graduated twazas, and one is inside with colored skin, the light brown skin, and the other one is a white Afrikaans meisie with some Abantu ancestors inside her blood, voortrekker. And I need to say thank you, because it's a big work to have kept this, and it's also the blessing of Africa, that Mother Africa, she opens her yes. She opens, she opens, she opens, she opens, she opens. It's why the church wasn't able to destroy Sangoma, because Sangoma said, how? Jesus is a big Makosi, and that Mary, yeah, we're going to just invite them into the Makosini. Hallelujah. Everybody's together there in our Makosini. There's also Krishna and Shiva and Kali, and everybody's together. There's Ganesh and Buddha, and because it's the process of bringing together, of being together, and recognizing.
I must say, I did notice that about you when you did your cacao facilitation, and I came with Deborah, and we did that cacao opening of the voice ceremony with you. And I noticed that you brought in a lot of different energies, like the Christ energy and Hindu energies, and it was a big mix. And for me, that's amazing. I love it when people can be open-minded enough to bring in whatever needs to come in.
Of course. Yeah, for me, I invite whoever shows up to be invited. I made a marriage to when I was 21 in ceremony. I was inside with the dreaming big time, and what they call sacred sickness in Africa, and the dreaming in Australia. Many people thought I was mad. My parents, my family were very worried about me. But in that time I made a marriage, and I married myself to working only for the highest good of all, and to bringing that into serving in whatever way I can. And it's gotten me into trouble before. You know, it's a sacrifice. You see, something else that people don't understand about being a Sangoma, following your calling, being a shaman, even using the word shaman when you're not Siberian, in a way that's a form of cultural misappropriation. But when you're inside with wisdom, then you don't mind so much. It's fine. We understand, you know. It's a sacrifice. To walk your path is a sacrifice. You have to sacrifice. We have to sacrifice our egos. We have to sacrifice our self-doubt. You know, all in right timing. We have to sacrifice
what's right,
yeah, we have to sacrifice personal comfort sometimes. We have to sacrifice all sorts of things in order to walk our truth. You know, and on the way to that gate of true initiation, it can be very, very uncomfortable. And even following initiation, there come challenges. There come great challenges, you know, like I recently had an experience of serving a ceremony that was, a huge calling. And the ceremony, it happened in a way that we didn't see it coming. And it opened a lot of trauma. And it was, you know, it's been a huge thing to integrate and work with. And I've been in process with that since then. And the calling for the ceremony was to help to relax the emotional body of the planet, the feeling body. And so in order for that to happen, not that I saw it coming, but in order for that to happen, the wound of separation, it was ripped open.
Wow.
Into ancient times, it was ripped open, and the ripping was painful for all of us. And I had to continue to serve. And I have had to go on my knees. I've been on my knees since then, and I'm still serving that ceremony. I'm still serving, and I'm in communication with the elemental realms deeply. You know, we received an apology from them. Even
what happened there, or was that not?
I'm not sure if the field is ready to hear it yet.
Fair enough.
What I can say is that what we were told afterwards when we inquired into, like, you know, what happened, guys? This was a very rough way of operating. This was like hardcore. I don't like hardcore. Gentleness is strong too. You know, what was going on there? And what we were told is that it was urgent.
Yeah.
It had to be opened. If it wasn't open, we couldn't clean it. So now you need to do the work. So my sacrifice has deepened since that ceremony, and I'm working. I've actually cleared. You'll see if you look on my calendar for this week. And next week it's going to be similar, I think, although I haven't received all of the callings yet. I've had to clear my calendar in order to do the work. And, you know, so we do whatever we need to do. We show up. And we keep saying yes. We keep opening our yes. And with the commitment of love that is unconditional, to keep returning to that place, with the commitment of together, with the commitment of transmutation, with the commitment of cleaning. So there's a huge thing happening in the field. The education system is changing inside the mystery schools, and it's a huge thing. There's a lot of resistance. The black and white structure doesn't actually want to let go. There's a lot of resistance. And yet, what must I do? I must keep walking.
Yeah.
Even if I have to work undercover, which is where the training of the troubadour has been very, very blessing in my life, is that I've learned to work from undercover.
Wow.
Which of course doesn't feed the ego, which is also a blessing. Even if I have to work undercover, I have to do what I've got to do. And each one of us who is called, we have to do what needs to happen now. Otherwise, also, we're going to get whacked. Because we entered into this consciousness and into this life with a job to do, each one of us. And when we don't do our jobs, we get whacked. Hey?
Why is it necessary to be undercover?
Well, you know, sometimes the field of resistance is so strong that the ability to kind of speak in a way that you're able to be heard by people with ears and maybe seen as well, and maybe hold hands and share the experience. Sometimes it gets closed because of fear or judgment or just not ready yet. Not ready yet. It doesn't mean that we must wait because the timing is now. So I'm proceeding with a great amount of gentleness, and I'm praying that the way is open for the work to be done, because, you know, for the work that is coming up on this next trip that I go to Europe, I've been told that ideally, in the world of ideals, this is a global event. Yeah. And many can see and feel and be conscious with what is happening. Humans, many humans can be conscious with it to assist, to integrate it more swiftly. And I have been blessed by the universe at my early age, in my early 20s, to be taught this thing that I say, and one day maybe it'll be on a t-shirt. It says, dream and ideals, practicalities adjust. So it could be that when I get there, I work undercover. And it's not a public event. And then the elemental kingdom takes it up from there, and the consciousness awakens slowly, bit by bit, in each person. I'm praying that the way is open for it to be able to be public, because I know that there are a lot of people who are ready and who will deepen and expand. All of us, we are ready to expand in our consciousness of presence together. And there are a lot who are ready to stand together, who are not afraid. And so I'm praying that is the case, and I don't know if it will be the case or not. But I'm okay with that too. You know, we do what we need to do.
It feels like there's a lot of people ready for that next step of evolution, whatever that might be for them. And it's just, I hope and pray that everything works out the way it should.
Yeah, a lot of it comes inside with forgiving.
La, I want to say thank you so much for this chat, and it was amazing connecting with you again, and I hope to see you sometime. Maybe next time I'm in Cape Town, I'd love to come and say hello.
Can
you show us your view?
Yes, I can't stand in front of it. So I'm in my office, which is quite chaotic at the moment because I've had to put everything else on hold to do the work.
Wow,
I live in the beautiful Golden Vale of Hout Bay.
Wow.
In Cape Town.
When I'm next in Cape Town, I'll send you a message. Hopefully I can come see your amazing space there.
Yeah, you might need to. You might have some work that you need to do. And it's nicer to work in person. My makosini is downstairs, and I also work with the wheel, with the medicine wheel. It's all downstairs underneath where I'm sitting now.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
La, I hope you have a beautiful day and awesome rest of your week. I'm going to post your website onto the comments here, and hopefully some people will be contacting you and see what happens from there.
Thokoza mkhulu, and you can play me a song when I see you, hey?
Yes.
You're going to owe me a song.
I owe you a song, you owe me a bone.
And this has been a wonderful song. Thank you for singing with me today and sharing your tree with me so that the voice can be heard. Thokoza mkhulu. I'm in a deep amount of gratitude to you. Thank you. Yeah, boy.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah.